Mr. Speaker, I think these cubicles, which are slightly bigger than a coffin, were created for hardcore criminals who have been convicted, but not people on remand. People on remand are not guilty. They have not committed any offense. They are just being held there for the sake of the processes of law. And the probability that they will be declared innocent is even high. It is so bad to make somebody to serve a punishment while on remand. Remand, in any case, Mr. Speaker, if we had provisions, we would not mix up convicts and the people on remand. 2, this tiny coffin-like hole where Dr. Besigye is being held is locked from outside all the time. These people in Luzira, they serve lunch in the morning. At 9 o'clock in the morning, they are serving lunch. At 3 p.m., they are serving supper, and it is bedtime. Mr. Speaker, to be held in that condition for several hours, it is torture. The bed in that cubicle does not even have a mattress, but only 2 folded blankets. I don't know if we are intending to create another Mandela for this country, because these are places people will try and say, how cruel were these people who lived during these times, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this is not about Besigye alone, but it also affects other many people. For example, by the time I visited that place, which holds 18 people, only 3 of those 18 were convicts. Only 3.
Fear of being killed in prison. The committee was informed by Dr. Besigye that he is in fear of being killed in prison through poisoning. His biggest fear is that the state, being the complainant in his case, the persecutor, and has the command and control of the Uganda prisons, puts him in danger. This fact, the Commissioner General of Prisons confirmed knowledge of the fears of Dr. Besigye and stated that it has put the prisons authorities in a precarious situation, having a prisoner under them who fears being killed by them.
The idea of solitary confinement of a prisoner, especially who is on remand, because solitary confinement is literally a punishment. It is actually serving a sentence. So the solitary confinement of a prisoner on remand, to me, is illegal. It amounts to torture and must be condemned. And the prison officers must be cautioned and told in an explicit terms they should not be confining a prisoner who is on remand to solitary confinement.
Be kind to the family. Dr. Besigye may not be a relative, but be kind to his son, his wife, his sisters and brothers, in the entire country, especially some of us that believe in him. No. Sir, this cannot be just a joking matter. You come here, just pass time, as if we are here to serve at your pleasure. We are not entertainers, Mr. Dak. We're not. And Mr. Speaker, the seat ground, please let him commit, and it should not be beyond tomorrow. We've been waiting for that report. You have the answer. You have no excuses. This is not a house for excuses. Enough is enough. We want to see that report tomorrow, Mr. Dag, with the due respect. And in conclusion, I make this conclusion that surely from today moving forward, I made this conclusion, and I want to put it before you, Mr. Attorney General, that being a deputy Attorney General does not change who you were, it reveals who you were. And I want to ask you to please, for 1 minute, have a human heart.
Dr. Besigye is a high-profile prisoner in Luzira prison. And I've not heard about issues related to communication and information. Does he have access to television? Does he have access to radio? Because not having access to this is tantamount to blindness. He is being made blind. He cannot see what's happening in the outside world. And yet he's a high-profile politician and a prisoner. And so my concern here is that in the nearest future, let such high-profile politicians or prisoners have access to communication, access to television, access to radio.
I admire Dr. Besigye a lot about his resilience, because some of us would have chosen just to die. Because what Dr. Kiza Besigye has gone through, some of us are not prepared to take. We would rather die and we go away.
Being a high-profile person, he is sincerely the kind of Ugandan you would prefer that in case he has a case to be answered of this nature, he should be kept at his home, in the comfort of his home, because I'm sure as and when is needed, he will present himself as he did when he was in South Africa. What is before us is a gentleman respected and loved by Ugandans, locked up 5 doors deep into prison. What would happen in the event of fire? Each door has 2 locks. The keys to those locks are centrally placed. What would happen in the event of fire? When a doctor like Dr. Kiza Besigye, who has been in the bush, fighting for freedom, liberty in this country, talks of poison, it goes beyond the fear of food. You can look at it in the nature of solitary confinement that he's in. You put him in one room and other prisoners are sharing rooms. As a doctor, he knows that he can inhale poison.
We can't allow to just sit in this house looking at the front seat, making this institution that you preside over, Mr. Speaker, in a joke. We're not going to allow that, Mr. Speaker. That is your constitutional office. You're a presiding officer. We are not going to allow people like my honorable brother making a joke or a fool of this house, not on our watch.
But I think we are creating, we are blowing a storm in a teacup. We are listening to each other. There is a report of the committee. I would say, let's go to that report. Today, I'm so lenient. I want to be as lenient as possible. It will be up to you. If it reaches 5, I want it to adjourn at 5. Okay, I'm seeing the time you're eating. So if you decide to use your time this way, then at a certain time I will adjourn and we've concluded the matter.
Right, Honorable Speaker, permit me to present a report of the Committee on Human Rights on the visit to Luzira Maximum Security Prison to assess the prison conditions of Colonel, retired Dr. Kiza Besigye, and Haji Obeid Lutale Kamulega. The committee, Roman 1, conducted a tour of Luzira Maximum Security Prison. 2, held a meeting with the Regional Prisons Commander for Kampala Extra and the officers in charge of Luzira Maximum Security Prison. 3, interacted with Colonel retired Dr. Kiza Besigye and Haji Obeid Lutale Kamulega. 4, held meetings with the Honorable, the Attorney General, the Uganda Prisons, and the Uganda Prisons Service. 5, received written submissions from the Uganda Human Rights Commission. And 6, reviewed the standard minimum rules for the treatment of prisoners. Findings. This section of the report presents the findings of the committee through the aforementioned methodology. 4.1, visit to Luzira Maximum Security Prison to assess the physical conditions of the prison. The committee visited the prison and interacted with the prisoners who raised the following issues. 4.1.1, Dr. Kizza Besigye's personal issues in prison. Colonel, retired Dr. Kizza Besigye informed the committee that he feels safer in Luzira prison compared to other detention facilities. He commended the prison authorities for their professionalism and for ensuring that inmates' rights are upheld and protected. He also had added that the prison doctors visit him on a daily basis and is allowed to see his personal doctor whenever the need arises. Dr. Kizza Besigye noted that he has access to adequate food with 3 authorized suppliers providing his needs. Similarly, his co-accused Haji Obed Lutale has 3 authorized suppliers providing his food. They cook their own meals for security reasons. It should be noted that whereas the Uganda Prison Service provides 3 meals a day for other prisoners, Dr. Kizza Besigye informed the committee that he refused to eat the food provided by the prison for fear of being poisoned. He acknowledged significant improvements in the prison conditions over the years. Systems have been computerized and the facility is better maintained than it used to be. He further confirmed that there had been a remarkable improvement between 2016 and the present day, with the prison currently fitted with running water, waterborne toilets, the abolition of the bucket system in Luzira maximum security prison, and a fresh coat of paint had been applied to the walls, which were all commendable developments. Dr. Besigye, however, highlighted some personal concerns. Number 1, he is detained in a highly restricted section, which he described as a prison within a prison, requiring passage through 5 gates to reach his cell. He expressed fear for his safety, particularly as he is held alone in a cell with a toilet, a shower within the northern wing, which accommodates a total of 18 prisoners. Number 2, he shared concerns about unexplained late-night activities in the prison, such as padlocks being opened and closed without anyone entering his cell. He fears being poisoned or harmed in such environment. Roman 3, Dr. Besigye lamented that he is not allowed to interact with fellow inmates and the rules applied to him are more restrictive than those applied to other prisoners. Roman 4, he is not allowed to attend prayers with other inmates in the prayer houses within the prison. The committee observed that the food provided by Uganda Prison Service to the prisoners lacks variety and does not meet the minimum standards of a balanced diet as provided for in the law on account of the limited budgetary provisions. To mitigate this, the Commissioner General informed the committee that Uganda Prison Service allows inmates access to their own non-cooked food supplies from external sources. The committee observed that interventions have been instituted to improve the living conditions of prisoners in Luzira Maximum Security Prison, as confirmed by Colonel retired Dr. Kizza Besigye, who stated that there had been remarkable improvements. The reports of running water, waterborne toilets, the abolition of the bucket system in Luzira Maximum Prison, and the fresh court are commendable. The committee recommends that the bucket system, as far as possible, should be eliminated from all facilities in the country. Government should increase funding to the Uganda Prison Service to facilitate the construction of waterborne facilities in all prisons in the country. Congestion. The committee noted that the rate of occupancy of Luzira Maximum Security Prison exceeds 500% since the facility was designed to hold 600 prisoners but currently holds 3,292 inmates. The committee recommends that government should prioritize setting up new prison facilities or expanding the existing ones to address the issue of congestion. Committee also recommends that government should take practical steps through the judiciary to urgently address the issue of case backlog. Separation and classification. The committee noted that the current incarceration of convicts, the condemned, and prisoners on demand in the same facility results in prisoners on remand who should be presumed innocent until proved guilty being treated as convicts, whereas, as much as possible, their rights should not be severely curtailed to the same extent. The committee recommends that the three categories of prisoners should be housed in different prison facilities to ensure that the rights of prisoners on remand are not abused since they are innocent until proved guilty. Prolonged pre-trial detention. The committee observed that pre-trial detention periods in Uganda range from days to decades, with some cases taking as long as 28 years in the judicial system without resolution. It's well elaborated that justice delayed is simply justice denied. Notably, some of these cases are awaiting ministers' orders as they have an element of mental illness. The committee recommends that the Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs should take appropriate measures to address impediments to access to justice. Right Honorable Speaker, as I conclude, the committee appreciates the contributions of the Uganda Prison Service, the Honorable, the Attorney General, the Uganda Human Rights Commission, and the members of the committee who turned up in large numbers to attend to this very important function. The committee prays that this report is considered and the recommendations therein adopted.
The second area of dissent is the opening of the 2 out of the 4 security locks to access Uganda Remand 1867 of 2024, retired Colonel Dr. Kiza Besigye, who informed the committee of an incident where deep in the night, to be exact after midnight, 2 of the 4 doors were opened. This scared him into shouting loudly, and the people opening retreated. He sought an explanation, and 3 different versions of events were told to him. The first, that there were some items forgotten within his detention facility. Secondly, he was told that the opening of the doors were because some padlocks had not been locked, so they had returned to lock it. And the third explanation was that it is routine inspection by the prison authorities to come into the night and inspect whether the prisoners are inside. This made him fear that the contradiction was not justified. Point number 3 of dissent is the solitary confinement of Uganda Remand 1867 of 2024. It was the submission of retired Colonel Dr. Kiza Besigye that he was being detained alone and is not allowed to interact with other prisoners, including attending prayers on Sunday with the rest of the prisoners. This is contrary to Section 57C of the Prisons Act 206. The Commissioner General of Prisons informed the committee that the isolation of retired Colonel Dr. Kizza Besigye is first for his own safety, but also because Dr. Kizza Besigye has the capacity to excite the prisoners, which might spiral out of control. In fact, Dr. Kizza Besigye complained of being in a difficult mental health situation which cannot be handled by the medical personnel at Luzira prison. There was no plausible justification by the prison authorities for detaining a message, confiscating it, and eventually sentencing that message to death, and the execution of the message was done. Point number 5, which is the last in dissent, is the denial of access to advocates to Dr. Kizza Besigye. The committee learned that Council Lukwago areas advocate to retired Colonel Dr. Kizza Besigye was denied access to his client on a critical day when the court-martial was sitting the next day. The lawyers had papers, applications, and affidavits that needed the signature of the accused persons. The Commissioner General informed the committee that he denied the lawyer Lukwago areas access to Dr. Kizza Besigye, since that same day there were members of Parliament who were visiting Dr. Besigye, and he could not allow both the lawyer and the MPs to access him. Our recommendations. The minority recommends that Parliament takes keen interest into the fears of retired Colonel Dr. Kizza Besigye of being killed in prison by poison. 2, the minority recommends that the trial of retired Colonel Kizza Besigye and subsequent detention in Luzira prison be terminated, and any trial be held under the civilian authorities.
For example, someone in prison for 28 years on remand, it just shook me. And it can happen to any of us. It can happen. 28 years, I don't know which crime he would have committed. I don't know which sentence that person will get. Procedurally, let me get the opinion of my colleagues here. Procedurally, I'm still just trying to get an opinion of the colleagues. No, mine which I'm on is different. I'm on someone who is in prison for 28 years. You're talking of Besigye who went there yesterday. We are talking of 28 years. Okay? So, Honorable Chair rules. On that same person of 28 years?
He's not in for 28 years just on remand. He has never appeared in court.
For 28 years?
Because you can be on remand when you are appearing in court. But this very one, they're actually 2. One has been there for 28, another one 16 years, and both of them have never appeared in court. And they're just waiting for the minister's order.
We are going to take 2 days, engage with the leadership of prisons and get all the necessary information and see the next step. Either ask for an automatic release or advise accordingly. But in 2 days, we'll be able to get
so
back
if you're asking for 2 days,
yes.
If you've agreed upon 2 days, can you update the House on Tuesday?
Yes.
Over the same?
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
And you have a suspect, accused, and you have not prosecuted him for 20 years. 20 years. It is not only illegal, it is certainly unconstitutional. Because the Constitution, Right Honorable Speaker, demands for a fair, speedy trial. It's a constitutional command. How can 20, somebody has been arrested and is now begging to be prosecuted. And he begs for 20 years. Please prosecute me. Please prosecute for 20 years. We cannot sit here as legislators Not these guys who put on wages as judges to say they are dispensing a system of justice which keeps somebody in jail for 20 years without a due process of the law. So, Right Honourable Speaker, as the Attorney General comes after the days you've given him, I think he should be able to look at the entire, and he gives us statistics. I thank you, Right Honourable.